Life responds to you differently when you become highly magnetic. Highly magnetic people, they focus on developing a highly magnetic identity. Magnetic people don't prove themselves. They're not seeking validation from outside of them. They have already decided within themselves, this is who I am, this is what feels best for me internally, and they aren't afraid to fully embody it. Where most people would turn around and say, oh, I'm being too much. If I say that, I'll be judged. If I do this, I could make mistakes. Magnetic people, the type of magnetic leadership that leads to a more effortlessness around you, is because you're not in tension and you're not in turbulence with your path. You're not fighting yourself. What others will think and say of you when you are stepping into the most magnetic identity of yourself is absolutely not your concern. What your concern becomes as someone who has a highly magnetic identity is that you want to always master yourself. You want to be in the process of self-mastery because you genuinely want to leave an imprint on the world. You genuinely want to leave an impression of increase. I recall when I was I was in a regional management position for a very, very well-known brand, a global brand. And I recall a team member who was a senior team member of mine. And I recall supporting her through stepping from a more junior role and really working her way up into that senior role that she had taken on board. And by the end of it, I knew she also was amazing with fashion and she wanted to pursue a career in fashion. So I wasn't going to hold her back. I was supporting her through the process. And when she finally gave in her resignation, I recall that she all of a sudden pulled back on all of her standards within the flagship store. And I knew straight away when I started to see the figures, the numbers dip down, and I knew something was off. So I decided to visit her, and she had given up because she had been moving on. She felt that she didn't need to put in the effort anymore. And I had a conversation with her that changed her complete perspective. 10 years later, she contacted me and said that one conversation that completely changed her trajectory and helped really expand her horizons. Like, she ended up working in France, in Paris, for a top fashion brand, and she accredited it to that conversation. That conversation went like this. I said, no matter where you are and what you do, you are leaving a signature of your work. So even when you are resigning, you must always leave it elevated. You never drop your standards, because people will always remember you based on not only how you made them feel, but the standards that you carry. That's what they're actually feeling. She took that on board. The results went up immediately for the business, so it helped the business. But ultimately, I planted a seed with her that day that completely changed the trajectory of how she was moving forward in her career, which ended up taking her to Paris and working for a fashion house. This is what magnetic people do. They do not compromise their standards. Now, I can say that things happen in life. Things don't always go smoothly. However, when you have standards and you are operating from that level of self-leadership, from that standard, even when things are not going your way, your standard will carry you through. Your standard has an energy to it. Your standard is so encoded and imprinted in you because you're continuously leading from it, that you still are delivering high quality. Most people want to match their ideal life, but they're not leading from matching the frequency of that desired reality. The desired reality is a standard. It's how you move, how you operate, how you feel about yourself. You see, most people are living outdated paradigms, outdated conceptual versions of themselves. It's like an old pair of shoes that you've been wearing for a very long time and it loses its structure. That's what happens with an identity. Imagine you put an amazing suit on, but the shoes aren't quite matched. It doesn't match. Therefore, when you shift your identity, what matters is that you are leading from the decisions that you've made consistently. There's no question. Am I leading today as the highest, most expressed and most fullest and most fulfilled version of myself. This isn't just about being, I want to be really high standards. No, it's about, am I fulfilled by the standards that I've set myself? Am I fulfilled by the work that I'm doing? Am I fulfilled by the impact I'm creating? It doesn't need to be huge impact. It can be the little things that you do throughout the day that makes a difference to you, to your environment, to how your lifestyle is. And when I say lifestyle, I'm not speaking from a superficial level. I'm talking about the true meaning of the experience that you are having in life. These basic principles I've shared with you are the right ones to start with. It's all about going internal first and building and cultivating the high-level magnetism identity. That is where every decision you make, the choices you make, how you lead yourself comes from this expressed version of yourself that really truly is in love with life, that is truly in love with what you do. And that means that people start to fall in love with what you do and potentially fall in love with your energy. People can feel that. People will always feel the presence of truth. When you lead from your truth and you create from your truth, that deep knowing within you, you become highly magnetic.